All right, let's talk about something that affects millions of people in Thailand every single year: major storms. But what exactly are they? Today, we're going to break down the different types of storms you really need to know about. And most importantly, we'll cover the essential steps for staying safe when nature unleashes its power. So, when I say the word storm, what's the first image that pops into your head? Maybe it's the heavy monsoon rains or a big flash of lightning, right? Well, the reality is a lot more complex. You see, the word storm is really just a catch-all for a whole range of powerful weather events, and each one has its own unique cause and its own specific dangers. So let's get a much clearer picture.
Okay, first things first. What actually defines a storm here in Thailand? Let's build a solid foundation so we can really understand these incredible forces of nature.
At its core, the official definition is actually pretty simple. A storm is basically any weather event where the winds are strong enough to cause damage. That's the key part. It's that potential for destruction that makes understanding them so critical. But as we're about to see, this simple definition branches out into some very different phenomena.
Here in Thailand, we can group storms into three main categories. First, you've got the massive ocean-borne systems called tropical cyclones. Then there are the sudden and really violent summer storms. And finally, a dangerous coastal effect that's known as a storm surge. We're going to tackle each one.
Let's start with the big one, tropical cyclones. These are the absolute giants of the storm world. These huge rotating systems that form way out over the ocean and can travel for hundreds of kilometers, bringing widespread wind and rain with them.
So how do these monsters even get started? Well, the key ingredient is warm ocean water. We're talking at least 26 to 27 degrees Celsius. As this incredibly warm, moist air rises up, it cools and condenses, releasing a truly massive amount of energy. And that energy is what fuels the storm's rotation. It literally turns the ocean's heat into a powerful, spinning weather engine.
Now, not all tropical cyclones are created equal. Their danger level is all about wind speed. It starts out as a tropical depression, which is the weakest form. If the winds pick up to 63 kilometers per hour, it graduates to a tropical storm. And if it keeps intensifying and hits 118 kilometers per hour or more, boom, it earns the powerful title of typhoon. So the name of the storm tells you a lot about its potential for damage.
So now that we know how these ocean giants form, let's look at the specific threats they bring when they get near us. And we'll start with one of the most dangerous of all, the storm surge.
A storm surge is not just a big wave. I want to be really clear about that. It is a literal wall of water that gets pushed onto the land by the immense power of a cyclone's winds as it makes landfall. This is often the most destructive and deadly part of a major storm hitting any coastal area.
And believe me, this is not just some theoretical danger. Thailand has experienced absolutely devastating storm surges. The tragedy at Lem Talamphok back in 1962 and the sheer destruction caused by Typhoon Gay in 1989, they are powerful, very sober reminders of what's at stake when these storms hit our shores.
Okay, let's move away from the coast because there's another type of storm that brings a totally different kind of danger, especially during the hot season. Between March and April, the hot, humid air has been building and building, and then it can suddenly clash with a cold air mass moving in. The result? A sudden, localized, and often incredibly violent event we call a summer storm.
Now for one of the most fascinating and definitely damaging things that can come with these intense storms, let's talk about hail.
Hail is so much more than just frozen rain. It only forms under very specific conditions inside a really powerful thunderstorm. You need unstable air, crazy strong updrafts that basically act like an elevator, tossing water droplets high up into the freezing atmosphere. And you need a ton of humidity to fuel the whole process. These droplets freeze, they fall, they get tossed back up, collect more ice, over and over until they're just too heavy and fall to the ground.
And these chunks of ice can get surprisingly huge. I mean, check this out. The heaviest hailstone ever recorded weighed 770 grams. That is heavier than a basketball. The largest was almost 18 centimeters across. It's just an incredible demonstration of the raw power that's locked inside some of these storms.
Knowing those records makes this slide all the more important, right? If a hailstorm hits, the rules are simple, but they are absolutely non-negotiable. First, get inside a sturdy building, immediately. Second, secure all your doors and windows and stay far away from them, especially glass. And because these storms often come with lightning, unplug your electronics and avoid touching anything that can conduct electricity.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how of these storms. Now we get to the most practical, most important section, your safety playbook. This covers what you need to do to prepare for any major windstorm.
Preparation is everything. Seriously. Before a storm is even forecast to arrive, you need to stay plugged into official weather reports. Then, take a look around your property. Trim back any big tree branches that look like they could fall on your house. Secure anything loose, roof tiles, signs, you name it. And most importantly, have an emergency kit ready to go with all the essentials: food, water, medicine, a flashlight. When the storm actually hits, the rules get even simpler. Stay inside a secure building, period. Don't even think about going outside. Make sure all your doors and windows are locked down tight. If you're in a coastal area and an evacuation is ordered, you leave immediately. Head for higher ground. And it should go without saying, but stay completely off the water. But the danger doesn't always end when the wind stops. First thing you do is check on yourself and others and provide first aid if anyone needs it. Be extremely cautious when you go outside. Watch out for hazards like fallen trees and especially downed power lines. Stay far away and report them right away. And please remember this crucial tip. The calm eye of a cyclone can fool you. Wait at least 3 hours after the wind dies down before you can be sure the entire storm is past.
So, we've broken down what these storms are and how you can prepare for them. Knowing this information is the first and honestly the most important step. But it leaves us with one final question to think about. Looking at your own home, your own family, your own plan, how prepared are you really for the next one?